24-year-old Olatubosun Olawoye owns a mobile phone with which he monitors happenings around the world via Twitter, Facebook, and other social networking sites. As a member of the Gen Z generation, he said he's keen on adopting a diverse range of technological innovations that could help him gain more skills in the digital economy. However, he lamented being a resident of Ile Ogbo, a community in Osun State, comes with its own limitations. In the whole of Ile-Ogbo community, there is no single ATM. He began, reeling out a long list of basic infrastructural amenities that the community lacks. Some of these things have limit one's productivity and draw you back in your efforts to be digitally compliant. Apart from the absence of automated teller machine (ATM) in Ile-Ogbo, there is no single commercial bank in our community. Ile-Ogbo is an agrarian community near Iwo in Osun State. It is the headquarters of Ayedire local government in Osun. The town lies midway between Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, and Osogbo, the Osun State capital. In spite of its importance as headquarters of a major local government council in the state, the community hosts no commercial bank. In the absence of banks and ATMs, there are numerous points of sale machines operating in and serving members of the community. POS operators are the engine room of financial transactions in this community, said Gabriel, a POS attendant operating from the Idi Akpe area of the agrarian community. The major problem is that we go through hell before we can cash for our own business too. We go as far as Iwo to get cash daily because that's the only place you have banks and ATMs. Gabriel explained further that on several occasions, ATMs in Iwo would have been emptied by the many POS operators operating in the community. You can imagine going to Iwo to look for cash and coming back with nothing. But that's the problem we face sometimes. There are too many POS operators in Iwo already, and many of them stay around the ATMs. So once the banks fill their ATMs, the POS guys, just empty them. More than 42 million Nigerian adults live in rural areas that lack basic banking services, according to a 2021 EFINA study on trends in access to financial services in Nigeria. There are numerous gaps to fill in the rural areas populated by unbanked people excluded from the financial ecosystem. The EFINA report shows that while 71% of urban adults have bank accounts, only 40% of those in rural areas have a formal account. In over 60% of rural communities across Nigeria, there are no bank branches, agents, or ATM. Although it has helped in bridging the financial inclusion gaps, mobile money has not proven to be a widespread option, as only 4% of adults in the EFINA study reports have such accounts. Worse still, in the Findex report of 2017, less than 6% have such accounts. Experts say that merger and acquisitions among banks may have led to the reduction in number of branches and ATM, as beneficiaries of mergers often cut down on costs by shutting down branches and ATM points, especially in places they already operate. Tunde Bamishe, a financial analyst, explained that the widespread adoption of mobile platforms may also have significantly affected the need for the use of ATMs in most places, prompting banks to cut down on operational costs and ATM installation. Similarly, a World Bank data showed that the number of commercial bank branches per 100,000 Nigerian adults dropped to 1.5 in 2020 from 4.8 in 2019. ATMs and new branches are very expensive to procure or maintain, and since the COVID-19 outbreak, banks have learned to cut down on costs, Mr. Bamshi said. The issue is that banks still serve their customers online, and many more people are embracing internet banking, so the solution might not be in banks installing new ATMs in rural areas or opening new branches, as that is too expensive and not sustainable from the operations perspective. The government and others tackle the rate of charges on Withdrawals can discourage someone from even keeping money in banks or operating an account. They charge 100 naira per every 5,000 naira for many villagers. That's somehow huge. Mrs. Akinremi, who spoke in Yoruba, told Premier Times that many of their men in Akpatere work outside of the community, and that enables them to make use of banks and other financial institutions. Our men work either in Iwo or Ibadan, and some of them only come home on weekends. That way, they have bank accounts and use banks in those big cities. But many of the women sell stuff here in Akpatere, and the absence of financial institution could be a form of discouragement, to be honest. There is no bank here in Akpatere, and there is none too at Lagon, a neighboring community. We spend money on transport to go to Ibadan or Iwo to withdraw. That's how we can also stay in business. According to the Global Financial Institution, having access to this transaction account is a major step toward broader financial inclusion, since a transaction account allows people to store money and send and receive payments. Mr. Olatubosun told Premier Times in Ile-Ogbo community that the absence of banking infrastructure makes this goal quite difficult for residents of Ile-Ogbo. Several studies have confirmed that women are less likely to be financially included than men, especially due to poor infrastructure. The EFI report shows that while 57% of men in Nigeria have a financial account, only 45% of women do. For many of us women living in rural areas, the situation is far worse, said Bimpe Akinremi, a resident of Akpatere village on the outskirts of Ibadan, Oyo State.